Many entrepreneurs start digital marketing backwards and they end up wasting thousands of dollars even before making their first sale. So today we're talking about what is your first few steps in your digital journey. Let's get right into it. If you're new here, my name is Liz and I help business owners use digital media so they can build their business faster. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss any of my future content. Now, if you're wondering what are the big pillars of digital media in the first place, it is email marketing, video marketing, social media, paid ads, website SEO. Those are kind of the big ones. And most business owners are aware that they need to have all of this humming along in their business. But the big problem is that many of them kind of just start with one and then haphazardly move through all of the rest of them. This is a mistake, my friends. If you just start anywhere in that big box of tools, then what you might end up doing is having big gaps and holes in your online presence altogether. You won't be able to figure out why your funnels seem to always be leaky and not really capturing an audience and converting them into paying customers. So today we're talking about the right order of actions to follow when you are getting your presence online and when you are using digital media. Let's get right into it. Now, the first thing to keep in mind is that it is a bad idea to start everywhere, and this is something that many business owners do. Because most people are aware that you need all of these different components that I mentioned before, they try to just dabble in everything right from the beginning. So the end goal is to have a solid presence and a solid system for all of those components, but that doesn't have to be your first goal. And in fact, if you make that your first goal, then not only are you going to burn out, but you're going to water yourself down so thin that you're not going to get any traction anywhere. Now, one thing to remember is that when you are first starting out building your digital presence, all of these different pillars are pretty equal in importance. What you should be doing is identifying where your existing strengths are, and then also identifying what are the different areas where you think that you need a little bit more time to build your skills and build your strength. If you happen to be a person that finds it really easy to just press record on a camera and start talking to the camera and just, chatting about different things that you're working on or different things in your business, then definitely video marketing would be the first place that you should start. On the other hand, many people are not comfortable just getting on video like that and they still need time to develop camera confidence. So those folks should definitely start with email marketing. And in fact, email is the place that I would suggest every single business owner start as they are building their digital presence. The thing about email marketing is that right from the get-go, it allows you to own your audience. Remember, with things like social media marketing and video marketing and paid ads, all of that involves you borrowing other businesses' audiences. So you are either borrowing the audience that Meta is creating, Facebook and Instagram, or you're borrowing TikTok's audiences and just trying to get a little corner of that audience for yourself. But with email marketing, that is your audience. So starting out like that right from the get-go is a great place to start. Not only do you start your journey with your own audience intact, and you know that these are people that are interested, but now you have a direct line of communication to them. You're not dependent on these crazy algorithms or on other sorts of systems and things going on in the world that are forcing you to maybe not connect with them at all. When you have people on your email list, it is you connecting directly with them. These are people who have voluntarily raised their hand to you and said that they want to be involved in anything that you are doing, and therefore they've joined your email list. So isn't that a brilliant place to start? Right from the seed of where the growth of that interest is, and then building out to the next platforms. Now, in today's day and age, hardly anyone will sign up for just being on your email list and getting a random email once in a while, unless you are a very prolific writer, for example. Typically nowadays, audiences are already just bogged down with different emails in their inbox and they don't want to join another email list. That is why you need to offer them something valuable in return for it. Of course, by now you know about lead magnets and all the free resources that you can give people, or if you've got a really juicy newsletter or some type of a Substack, something that you're writing that's really, really action-oriented for your audience, then they may be willing to sign up. But you have to be able to sit down and think for yourself, what can you give them of value in return for their email address? So once you develop that funnel so that people bump into you somehow on the internet and get an opportunity to sign up for something and give you their email address, then you're just going to continue that process of emailing them as regularly as you think is appropriate, giving a lot of value to them and continuing on that journey. That's when it's time to add on the next step. Once you feel like you're on a roll with email marketing, that's when you should really think about adding video. Video is going to be the next highest driver of visibility to your business. And remember, people have to find the opt-in page where they even sign up for your email list. If it's only buried somewhere on your website, that's not enough of an opportunity for people to see that. This is why you really need to get into the social media game. But social media itself is a huge animal. There's a lot of different components to it, which is why I'm recommending, instead of just diving full on into social as a whole, focus first on the video aspect of social media. Hopefully you have an account on some of the main platforms where you think your audience is hanging out. So spend time learning how to develop camera confidence, how to actually create simple videos using the tools you already have, like your smartphone, for example. Start creating videos and then keep driving people back to that page where they are signing up for your email resource, whatever that is. This is how you are going to get the biggest bang for your buck, because you've already got a juicy resource. You have a direct connection to people because you are going to be emailing them. And now you just want to have more visibility to that. You want to have more people knowing about that resource. So video is going to be the way to go. Video is the number one way where you can get the maximum number of people, strangers and people who already know you, looking at your stuff without having to actually, wish and hope and pray that your one social media post is actually going to get traction. So once you start working on video and feeling like you've built up a level of comfort, that is when you're going to go on to the next piece. And of course, the next piece is social media as a whole. Once you've got video under your belt, then you can really start to use the power of social media to your benefit. You can think more about a brand strategy, how to show up on your social platforms in a way that actually is appealing to your audience, which platforms might not be of relevance to you, where your audience is not hanging out, where you can actually spend more time within social media. Is it engaging in the comments? Is it trying to find better hooks and better visual aids for your content? What are all the bits and pieces of all of that social media game? There's actually a lot to learn with social media, which is why I don't recommend that you just start there first without actually putting together some of the other pieces. I have seen so many people burn out just because they jumped onto social media on day one. I know that their assumption was that social is the best way to just use a free tool like social to get eyeballs on your business. But in fact, you need the foundations of a strong, converting, compelling business message in order to actually get some success with social media. Imagine that you don't have a really strong brand message, or you don't have anything to offer them, like an offer in general, or a paid resource or a free resource. Imagine you don't have any of that stuff and then you're busy on social media. You're basically going to be getting eyeballs to something that isn't very built out yet, to all of this gray, vague matter, which is not what you want to do. This is why you want to get that built, warm audience with a proper offer and a proper lead magnet or free resource, and then start getting some eyeballs on it using social. Now, once those three things are moving along in a way that you feel like you are looking at the analytics behind everything and you are comfortable with the direction that it's moving, that is when you can start thinking about paid ads. I can never understand why people want to run paid ads to social media content that isn't actually converting anyone. Once your social media content seems to be getting engagement and people are saving it or sharing it or commenting on it or just seeing it in general and interacting in some way, that is the right time to put some paid ads behind that. You don't want to do that before that you know that the social is converting. Similarly, if you take a step backwards, you want to make sure that your videos are actually converting. That's why you actually get ready to put them on social media. If you're creating videos that nobody's looking at, nobody's engaging with, and nobody seems to even notice exist, then why would you create a full social strategy around that? So each pillar needs to have its own conversion analysis around it. Once you feel that that pillar is working, it is actually getting traction, people that you feel are your ideal client are looking at it and interested, that is when you move on to the next pillar. So hopefully by this point, you have a free resource that is actually generating more email subscribers to you. You have videos that people are interested in. You have social media presence that is starting to get engagement. This is when you start adding on paid ads. Once you start adding on paid ads, you have the confidence of knowing that you're not just throwing money down the drain. You are putting money into something that is going to continue to convert because now you have the evidence that all of the other pillars are converting. So this is the right time to start adding especially some video ads. They are the highest converting out of all types of ads. Spend some time either taking a course to learn how to do this or hire out. Paid advertising is not something that you want to do just trial and error or blindly, because you can end up losing thousands of dollars and then not have anything to show for it, nor will you have any idea what went wrong in the process. So if you feel like you don't have the time or expertise to learn how to do them yourself, hire somebody to teach you, like a consultant, or hire an agency that's going to do it for you. Then you can move on to the last pillar. And now we move on to the last pillar, which is your website. Nowadays, your website is probably one of the second or third places that people are actually going to look for you. First, they're going to look for you on social media platforms, and they're going to look for you on Google. So remember that nowadays, even social media is being searched, and all the keywords in there is helping you get found in Google as well. So your website is not actually as prevalent as it used to be in the olden days, where that was the only place where people would look to find out about you. Nowadays, many of my clients only find me through social, and they don't even know that I had a website, and they never even looked for it. So of course, a website is still important. It is nice to have one page where people can go and just get all of the information. But you'd be amazed how full businesses are running just off of a link in bio on their social media platforms. And all of those tools are so easy to access and to pay for and to get started with. So for that reason, all you need is a one-pager on your website just to explain all the information in a really succinct way, or a really simple website. Gone are the days where you need to dump thousands of dollars into web design to get something up and running. Because people nowadays are making their decisions differently from how they were making them 5 and 10 years ago. Nobody wants to read too much information. They just want to know what you do and how that's going to be relevant to them, and whether there's other people in the world that have tried your service and speak highly of it. So reviews, testimonials, those are important too. But there are so many tools nowadays that help you create your own website. You don't have to know coding. You don't have to buy anything fancy or spend hundreds of dollars for it either. Just using drag and drop simple tools, you can create something that looks really good and something that is really appealing to your audience and very accurate to the work you do. So this is why you can actually hold off for a bit. You don't have to have your website up and going on day one. Instead, focus on the other pillars that I mentioned, because that's the stuff that's actually going to get people hanging out with you. Email marketing is the people that are bringing people into your world. You now know their name and you have their contact information. Similarly, video marketing and social media is what is making your face and your voice and your brand familiar to strangers and to everyone else in the world. Your website is one of those things that is just kind of there on the internet to provide more information. But a lot of the people that are going to be maybe purchasing things from you are not going to start there. They're going to start with some of the other pillars. So if you like this video, I hope that you will give it a like, share it off with one of your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, because every single Tuesday, I bring you a new video teaching you how you can use digital media to build your business faster. So until next time, take care.